Welcome to Fuller Expectations, the podcast for anyone who feels that the path that they're on just isn't what they want, need, or quite frankly, where they expected to be at this stage in their life. I'm Carrie Fuller, your host, and I am so excited that you took the time to listen today. If you're here because someone shared this with you, that means that they care about you and think that this episode might be meaningful to you. No matter why you're here, thanks so much for taking the time to spend with us today. And if you're new to the Fuller Expectations podcast family, thanks so much for joining us. Every week, we're going to have real conversations, share inspiring stories, and offer you the support that you need to create a life that feels aligned with your goals, your passion, and your purpose. A life that's just truly, authentically yours. If you're interested in better, you are in the right place. We all deserve to live a life that offers us true joy, no matter what age or stage we're in. And if you like what you've heard today and thought of someone who might benefit, please share this episode with them. And if you haven't already, hit follow so that our podcast can appear in your podcast library. Every week we launch a new episode and we don't want you to miss it. And now let's get right into today's episode. I am so glad you're here with me today. A while back, we did a really meaningful episode called My Anti-Bucket List, and I shared a list of the things that I am officially done doing in the second half of my life. That episode is one of the most listened to episodes, so people loved it. The messages and the shares and the conversations that came out of that were so incredible. So I've decided that today we are going to take a deeper dive into the decision of letting things go, one decision at a time. And this is truly a lifelong practice. It's not easy. And if you're like me, I don't like saying no to people. And I just have decided at this point in my life that in order to fit in the things that I need to do for me, I have to say no once in a while. I know that you all probably feel the same way. So the point of this conversation, well, we all know that everyone talks about bucket lists, and this is the places that we want to go and the things that we want to do in our lives. And the fact is, sometimes the most powerful list isn't what you're adding to your life, but it is what you're willing to release from your life. Today's episode is an anti-bucket list continued, where we're going to talk about how to gracefully let go of the people that no longer meet where we are at this point in our lives, the patterns that drain our energy and leave us with no time for ourselves, and the past versions of ourselves that we have just simply outgrown. There is no bitterness, no guilt. There is clarity, compassion, and strength in doing this. So let's start by talking about the evolution of the anti-bucket list. When I created my anti-bucket list, it was about releasing some of the small things in my life that just basically took time away from my ability to do the things that were important. And in midlife, that includes shopping to eat healthy and getting some time in at the gym and getting a better quality of sleep and just having less stuff around my house, whether it's clothes or anything that just is not serving a purpose. So some of the things that we can release that are kind of easy when you think about it is think about the things that fill your time. So this is things like saying yes when you really want to say no. It's about shrinking yourself to fit a situation that you really don't even want to be a part of in the first place. It's about chasing perfection because of what you think everyone else expects of you. It's about apologizing for taking up space when you don't need to apologize. It's about ignoring your intuition. And a lot of us ignore our intuition. And if you think about that, it gets us into situations sometimes that we could have clearly avoided if we just followed our gut. But, the fact is, here's one thing that no one tells us about growth. Once you stop doing the little things that take up space and time, you start noticing the big things, the relationships and the habits and the stories and identities that keep you cycling in the same place. Do you ever feel like you're on the gerbil wheel, the hamster wheel, where you just keep doing the same thing and the wheels are spinning and nothing is changing? And that's really because you haven't changed anything. So why would it change? So let's shift over to letting go of people. with grace and not drama. In midlife, we start to see people clearly, not with judgment, but with honesty. And that's where we recognize the people that feed our energy and the people that drain it. We recognize people who show up for us and then others who only take from us. And then we recognize who sees us versus who sees only what we are able to provide or do for them. And sometimes the bravest thing you can do is admit that a relationship has had its season and it really has ended, but we just haven't let it go yet. Letting go of relationships that no longer serve you doesn't have to be dramatic. You don't need confrontation. You don't need an explosion. Sometimes it's simply softening, it's gentle distancing. It's an internal decision that we really don't have to even explain. We just kind of quietly step away. Gracefully letting go is basically saying, I release you without resentment and I release myself without regret. That's what you say to yourself. You don't have to explain anything to anybody else. Let's also talk about the patterns that keep us small. Some patterns that belong on the anti-bucket list are patterns like putting yourself last because it's easier to do that than it is to disappoint other people. I have done this for years. Oh my gosh, I still do it, where I get sucked into things that take up my time and then I'm not able to fit in the things that I'd really rather do for myself that are better for me health-wise and emotionally. Another pattern is ignoring red flags. There are red flags in relationship, there's red flags at work, and there's red flags with our own body that we ignore, and we have to stop doing that. So on our anti-bucket list should be stop ignoring the red flags and start doing something about those things. That kind of falls into intuition too. And another one is over-explaining. That's something that I never really thought a lot about. I always felt like I had to be the person that quickly answered an email or quickly responded to something that someone said to me that really did lead to over-explaining, but you don't have to over-explain. Actually, you don't even have to explain yourself. And then another thing is tolerating behavior that you'd never ask someone that you love to tolerate from you. That's a big one. So think about that. Do you tolerate behavior from another person, but it's behavior that you would never expect someone to tolerate from you? What can you do about that to make that different? Is that easy to stop doing? That's something that definitely needs to be revisited. Do you stay busy to avoid feeling? So instead of having that hard conversation or confronting that person, that you really have something inside of you festering and you're not dealing with that, but you're doing plenty of other stuff instead to avoid addressing that situation. And then another big thing is delaying your own joy until things calm down and you can fit it in or you can afford it or other people can deal with the fact that you want to do it. That's a big deal. We have all probably delayed our joy for the benefit of other people, but what does that really get you in the end? I encourage you to start putting things on your calendar that you want to do for yourself, whether it's a trip or joining a health club or spending more time with your friends or visiting family members that you keep saying you want to visit and don't do. Little things like that. You have to take care of yourself first and the things that you want to do, because if you're constantly avoiding things that make you happy for the benefit of other people, that's just going to build resentment, and those relationships are not going to be good relationships. They're not going to be healthy relationships if you do that. So these patterns, all of these examples that I just gave, they don't stop by accident. They stop when you say, this version of me is gone, I'm not doing it anymore. The patterns that we get into are patterns that we keep doing because it's our choice to keep doing it, but it's also our choice to stop doing it. So the patterns are not who you are. They're who you were forced to become to live in situations for seasons of your life that have maybe changed. If there's things in your life that no longer serve you, it's okay to say that I don't want to do this anymore. I don't want to be this person anymore. This is who I'm going to be now. This is who I want to be. And stop doing those things. We all know that life is a series of chapters or seasons. no matter what you call it. It doesn't really matter. It's okay to shift directions. It's okay to change the sail and go in a different direction, go down a different road. It's okay to do that. It's actually necessary as we evolve in our lives. We can't stay the same for the whole course of our lives. Think about that. So letting go of past versions of you, it's one of the hardest things to do. We all carry past versions of ourselves, to be a pleaser, to be a fixer, to be a hero, to be the quiet one who doesn't complain, to be the one who doesn't know her worth, the one who tried so hard to hold everything together, the one who accepted the crumbs, the one who's settled. It's easy to judge that person, but she was doing the best she could with what she knew, and it's okay to recognize that and to shift and move in a different direction. So letting go gracefully means honoring the person you are and then releasing yourself so that you can grow beyond who you were yesterday. The next version of the anti-bucket list is when we add things that we are done doing. That includes things like shrinking yourself to be liked by other people, reliving stories that no longer match who you are today, carrying relationships that don't carry you, trying to be the person that someone else wishes you were, apologizing for changing, explaining your boundaries to other people, mistaking comfort for peace, abandoning yourself to keep the peace, pretending fine is enough. Fine is not enough. Think about how many people accept fine. Imagine if it were awesome or fabulous. Imagine if that were your norm. The only person that can make that your norm is you. So put fine on the anti-bucket list and strive for awesome. Stop dimming your joy because others feel threatened by it. And stop holding on to versions of yourself that you've outgrown, even if others aren't ready for the new you. It's okay. If you're ready, that's all that matters. And you know what? Even if you feel like you're not ready, do it anyway, because you'll figure it out as you go. The beauty of letting go has some really cool things that we need to remember. Letting go isn't losing, it's choosing. It's choosing to protect your energy, prioritize your peace, and honor your growth. It's choosing to move towards the things in your life that fit you now, not the life that fit you before. The second half of life is too sacred to live weighted down, so let things go and let what's meant for you meet you where you are. I hope that in this you can think about the things that really can make your life the life that you want to live. The fact is, it's so short, and I think all of us in the second half of life are going through things that are making us recognize that even more. We're losing our parents. Some of us are losing friends. Some of us are being diagnosed with illnesses that require medical care. Some of us are ending relationships. Some of us are starting new relationships. Some of us have just said goodbye to our kids when they went off to college. We're seeing and feeling shifts in our lives that are basically telling us that it's time to move in a different direction. It's where we meet ourselves that matters most in the second half of life. And if you've spent the first half doing for everyone else and sacrificing yourself, you need to stop and pause and make a list of the things that you need to do to take care of yourself at this point. Have you scheduled your annual physical? Do you go to the doctors every year? Are you getting your colonoscopy and your mammogram and your OBGYN visits in? Are you taking time to move your body every day? Are you shopping the perimeter of the grocery store to buy foods that feed your body? Or are you going home at night, having a cocktail, eating processed foods, and sitting there watching Netflix and scrolling on your phone? Think about how you're spending your time. And it's okay to do that once in a while. We all do that. Just as long as 3 or 4 days a week, we're getting up, we're getting physical activity, and we're eating things 80% of the time that are really, really good for our bodies. My anti-bucket list continues to grow, and I encourage you to think about things that you want to do differently in your life to enhance it and to live your best life in the second half. If you thought of someone who might benefit by this conversation, please share this episode with them and hit follow so that our podcast appears in your podcast library and you won't miss an episode, because we do launch every week and we'd love to have you join us. Thanks for listening today. If this episode sparked something in you, please share it with a friend, leave a comment or a review, and reach out and let me know what resonated. Remember, no matter what age or stage of life you're in, you can pivot. And always remember, the second half of life is not a winding down. It's a waking up. Please follow or subscribe. We'd love to have you as part of our podcast family. Let's keep showing up and being the best version of ourselves. Until next time, take care.